In today's video, you learn how to make simple chords on guitar sound totally incredible. We'll be using chords you already know, but we'll be using a musical device called voice leading so that these simple chords sound awesome, totally amazing. Now, this is so much fun and will blow your friends away when they hear you play with these chords in this special way. Hi, I'm Tom Hess. I once heard an old guitar teacher of mine playing some awesome chords at the start of one of my guitar lessons. Now, these chords sounded so cool, like they could be in a soundtrack of a movie. And I asked him what these unique and special chords were. He said, "These are easy chords you already know." I said, "No, they can't be. You're playing something special." He said, "Nope, I'm just playing different versions of A minor, E, F, and D minor." Well, I didn't believe him. Then he showed me what he was doing and my mouth hit the floor. What he was doing was using something called voice leading and chord inversions. And today, I'm going to teach you the same thing. This makes any chord or group of chords sound really great. All right, for this first example, I'm only going to be playing two chords. These two chords are simply G and D. That's all it is. Check it out and see how cool this is. Doesn't that sound cool? It's just two chords. All I did was I played G, D, G, D, G, D, G, D, G, D, G. That's it. All it is. Here's the G chord. We got a G note, we got a D note, and we got a B note. So that makes the G chord. Then we have F sharp, D, and A, and that makes a D chord. Go back to G. This is another D chord. So we have the notes A, F sharp, and D. Then we have a G chord, B, G, and D. Then we have another D chord, D, A, F sharp. And then we have a G chord here. D, B, and G. That's a G chord. Another D chord, F sharp, D, and A. Then we have G, G, D, B. Now here I'm playing actually a D7 chord. We could make it a D chord if I do this. This would be A, F sharp, and D, but instead I did A, F sharp, and C. And then finish, you can finish up here on a G chord if you like. B, G, D. So the whole thing is just this. That's all it is. But instead, we're inverting the chords and we're using smooth voice leading. And we'll talk a little bit about what voice leading is in just a minute. But for now, let's hear it one more time. It sounds totally cool. It sounds like we're playing lots of different chords, but in fact, we're not. It's very, very, very simple. So in this video, what I'm doing here is I'm introducing you to voice leading and showing you some ways you can use voice leading on the guitar, playing with some real chords and making some real music. If you want a more comprehensive understanding or lesson on what voice leading actually is and how it works, there's a really cool video on YouTube, not by me, but by a guy named Dr. Tommaso Zilio, and he has a video titled Understanding Chord Progressions, A Simple Introduction to Voice Leading. So if you want the more background information about how voice leading works, go check out Dr. Tommaso Zilio's video for that before you move on further with the rest of this video. In this next example, I'm going to be playing two chords again, but this time it's just A minor and E major. And if we go back and forth, it kind of sounds simple, unsophisticated, kind of boring, kind of cheesy. But if we use cool voice leading and some inversions for the chords, it's going to sound really cool. So check this out. Again, this is just A minor and E. A minor and E, that's all it is. So let's go over this one more time. So the notes in each one, we've got A, E, and A, so that's an A5 chord. Then here we've got G sharp, E, and B, so that's our E chord. Then here we have A, E, and C. Then we've got an E chord. This is a B note, G sharp, and E, B, G sharp, E. Then we have an A minor chord, C, A, and E, C, A, E. Then we have an E major chord, E, B, and G sharp. Then we have an A minor chord, starting on E, then C, then A. Then we have another E chord, G sharp, A, and B. Then we have our final A minor chord, A, E, C. And if you're curious about what I'm doing with my right hand, I'm doing what's called fisting. I'm just taking my fist and I'm fisting the bridge here. I don't have the whammy bar attached to the bridge, so this is a floating bridge. And what this allows me to do is add vibrato to the entire chord. See, without it, you can use your fingers. It's harder. Okay, if you use the bridge, it's just a little bit easier because all of the strings are going up and down by the same amount. That is not impossible to do with the fretting hand. It's just harder when holding down the chord at once. So there, it's nice and smooth when you just use your palm and fist the bridge. It gives it a really cool, nice vibrato. So how to practice voice leading on the guitar? How do you make the simple guitar chords sound awesome? Well, if you noticed, in the examples that I gave you, all I did was I was playing each chord with only 3 strings and 3 notes. In this case, I played string 6, strings 4, and string 3. I didn't play on string 5, 2, or 1. Okay, that's arbitrary. We could have chosen any set of strings. We also could have played it on more than 3 strings. We could have played it on 5 or 6 or 4 or any other number. But in this case, I kept things simple, so it's just 3 strings. There's 1 note for each chord on each of the 3 strings. So we're dealing with triads primarily here. So in the case of in the first example, when I played the G chord, I played one of the notes of a G chord, which are G, B, and D, and I chose G to start with, down here low on the neck, and then D I used open, and then B I used on the 3rd string, 4th fret. Okay, so that's how we got that. And then what I asked myself is, okay, now I want to play a D chord. What is the closest, without moving my hand all over the place, Where is the closest D chord I can play? Well, all you have to do there is you find out what are the notes in a D chord. If you don't know, the notes are D, F sharp, and A. So, with my hand in this position, I would say, well, let's see, I'm on G right now. What is the closest note in the D chord from where I'm at? So, the D is pretty far away from here. It's like way up here on this string. The A is pretty close, but the F sharp is even closer, okay? So then, when I go to the next string, I'd ask the same question. What are the notes of a D chord? D, F sharp, and A. I've already got an F sharp, and D is right there open as it was before, so I'll just keep that note. And then I had G up here, sorry, B note here, and A, the remaining note of our D chord, is the closest note. Now I want to move up, so that's a G chord there. I went G, D, G. So as I'm going to move my hand up now, I would say, okay, what are the notes again in the D chord? D, F sharp, and A. And where is the closest one of those notes to where I'm at? That's not the F sharp that we already used. So in this case, it's A, D, F sharp, A. Okay, and then from here, now I need an F sharp and a D. Well, there it is right there. It's pretty easy to find those here. Now from here, I'd say, okay, we're going to go back to G. But I don't want to go down to where we started. I want to keep moving this way on the guitar. So where are the closest notes for the G chord from where I am? Well, B note is right here. F sharp goes to G. That's very close. And then we've got the D note stays the same. So this note's going from here to here. This note's going from here to here. And this note stays in the same place. That's essentially how you figure these out and how you can practice voice leading chords on the guitar. So today we've been talking a lot about chords and voice leading. But what about your fretting hand? If you want to build more guitar skill with your fretting hand, you'll love my new free e-guide called Mastering Fretting Hand Finger Independence for Guitar Players. It's totally free, no strings attached. I think you're going to love this. So click on the link below to download your copy right now.